which is a great segue for interrupts from others. It's all in the plan. So how do we redirect interrupts? When someone wants to interrupt you and ask a question, well, first, how did they find you? You left your IM client running, and now you're upset that people are IMing you. The IM client, now I don't know what IM client you use, but I bet it has a quit feature. Now, if you need to keep it open because you're communicating with your team and non-team people are chatting to you, you can set it to be busy often, and that gives you permission to not respond immediately to someone. There's a lot of things you can do. In my team, when you are on like project time, you just exit out of your IM clients, and it's our culture that, like, if it's really important, we'll call you or walk over to your desk or something. Let's see. So, but how do people find you in the bigger scale? Do you have a written policy to your users of how they are supposed to get help? A lot of people say people keep bypassing the help desk and going straight to me. Well, if you've ever trained a dog, reinforcement is 90% of training. So if you help that person that circumvented the help desk, you're reinforcing their behavior. So you need to do two things. One is, well, actually, we'll talk about getting rid of the person politely in a minute. But first of all, it's unethical to enforce a policy that has not been communicated. So how can we communicate how to get help to people? You can have it in, if you configure their web browser to start on some internet web page, in the little corner there should be need help. Hours, please try the help desk first. The phone number, the email address for it. Clicking on something gets you to the submit a ticket function. The hours of operation right there. If you take your Windows or Linux distro and change the background image, so maybe it's your university's logo or something, why not have it be your university's logo and how to get help? A really neat thing is you take the vendor's default page, like the Microsoft Blue Sky thing, and you take that bitmap and you add in your help desk information and you put that on everyone's machines, because then it's like, wow, they're like in cahoots with Bill Gates. I have a Linux distro that I created myself. It's Tom Linux. You should all download it. It's amazingly just like Ubuntu, except the screen has a little thing about me right at the bottom. Yeah. Otherwise, exactly the same. I didn't even rename anything else. So what else we got here? Yeah, so are the proper channels clearly communicated? Do you have posters in the hallway that say what the process is? And can you rearrange the seating so that people walk by your coworkers on the way to getting to you? So when I was at my previous company, couldn't figure out why the London office sysadmins couldn't get anything done. And when I went to visit them, I found that their whole office was very much like this classroom, rows of desks, and the sysadmins were the last desk. And the guy who I wanted doing project work sat here, and the guy that was supposed to working on fielding interrupts from the users was there. So people would always bother this guy. So I made them switch seats. Big productivity boost. Now, if your boss won't change things, maybe you can just bribe your facilities planner to require that the change be done for some other reason. How can you bribe your facilities planner? I think the best way is with hardware. So what you can do is find out, would they like a new computer, and make sure that, not only do they get a nice new computer, but they know that you arranged for it. And let's see, what other bribing? Or just make sure it's a better computer than someone in the office that they don't like. Now, an inexpensive way of doing this is if you just give them a new keyboard and monitor. That is, their computer itself is probably fast enough, but a brand new keyboard and a brand new monitor, the keyboard is nicer because they probably have a mucky old keyboard, and a new keyboard feels like a big upgrade, but it costs like $10. And a new monitor, if they have an old style tube monitor, getting a flat screen, you've really impressed them. So very simple and inexpensive bribes. Dell's refurb site, you could do a flat screen and a keyboard for like pennies. Very inexpensive bribes. And another benefit of just upgrading the keyboard and monitor is no issues with transferring the data and then finding out that the new machine doesn't have the right software and stuff. So very inexpensive. Yes?
In terms of interrupts, at a former incarnation of the university, I was the admin to help us everything. It was a university, and so I instituted office hours, which is something that they all understood.
Right. So you found something that fits within your culture. You said, this is a university, people understand the concept of office hours, so we'll have office hours for sysadmins. And since you were the solo sysadmin, you had your hour for that people would come by. Yeah, that's great. Where I work now, we have, call it help desk surgery. You can schedule an hour with a geek, and they'll sit there and clean up your computer, and it takes about an hour, and while they do that, they ask questions like, so, what are your biggest annoyances in the system? And usually people have all these impossible to fix annoyances that our help desk people say, oh yeah, there's a setting that fixes that and fixes that and fixes that, and they walk away after an hour and they're 10 times more productive. Yes?
One thing I've discovered is as a system administrator, I have access to computer rooms, generally behind locked doors with key cards.
Ah.
My users do not. So I found some places to drop a desk and lock the door and clear in.
Right, so his advice is hide from your users. So either go into, set up a desk in a machine room or a conference room or something and get work done. Yeah, now I don't recommend a desk in a machine room because it's not healthy to work in a cold room. Also, it's not power efficient. People generate 220 BTUs and that's additional load on the cooling system, which might be okay for one person, but if you get a couple people, it can actually stress your cooling system.
It's too loud.
And it's also too loud, so you have OSHA issues. But I will often reserve a conference room for myself and just sit there and get work done if I need to get stuff done. Where I work now, we have one-person conference rooms. It's just like one desk, one phone, and a tiny little video conference screen. So you can, it's like a phone booth for video, for participating in conference calls. And a lot of times, a lot of them don't have a video conference unit because it's just assumed that you're just locking yourself away to get work done.